Hi, this is Travis in the Uncanny Valley. So, this little video here is just about my goals and reasoning for these videos. This isn't the overarching goals as far as where these videos fit into my long term need for visualizing data. This is just for what the videos themselves are to do. So, I need to uh, spew out my thoughts so that I can listen back to them. So instead of doing it as voice memos or notes on my phone, like this has been really helpful. So I will go through this and iterate several times before I feel like I'm accurately describing uh, what it is I'm trying to describe. And then much of what I'm saying will be things that I would normally have been unproductive sentences. Like if this was a conversation with another person, uh, things that I will leave out in the next iteration are things that would have been, um, if in a conversation with another person, it would have been either frustrating, misleading, um, inaccurate as far as what my actual thoughts were, just something I'd packed in with that box of things that I thought was associated and wasn't really, maybe because of a key word. Um, so this is a much healthier approach to doing this. Um, and I'm able to do it all in one go, which is better than a voice memo on my phone. Um, but I'm doing this so that I can get my symptoms kind of described in a 15-minute video or less, and then um, try and flesh out a lot of details around that symptom, a lot around that behavior. Um, so I wanted to read a couple passages that really struck a note with me. The first is uh, John chapter 9, uh, 1 through 3. Um, as Jesus passed by with the disciples, it says, as he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned who sinned, this man or his parents, that he would be born blind? Jesus answered, it was neither that this man sinned nor his parents, but it was so that the works of God might be displayed in him. And I'm not in any way suggesting that I have not sinned as a result of my inclinations, my behaviors, my uh, any cognitive impairments I might have been born with or developed through not understanding how social dynamics work. But I'm only speaking with regard to the blind spots that I do have, as far as not understanding how human interaction is supposed to really work. So those, I feel like, are able to be used for God's glory. And then another passage here that I thought of was 2 Corinthians 12. Um, nope, where is it? I feel like I'm being tormented. And it was given me a thorn in the flesh. And concerning this thorn, I have implored God 3 times that it might leave me. 3 times. And he has said to me that his grace is sufficient for me because his power is perfected in my weakness. Not that his power is lacking and needing my weakness, but that so that the power of Christ may dwell in me, because it's through embracing my weaknesses that God made me with and using those to glorify God. Because if I was doing it from my a place of strength, then it would be illogical and anyways, it goes on to say, therefore, I am well content with weaknesses, with insults, with distresses, with persecutions, with difficulties, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And I don't mean to suggest in any way that I have been, um, that I have conducted myself in uh, a healthy or a godly way in circumstances when reacting uh, in situations around my difficulties, but just to say that that's the purpose of my weaknesses, and that as I grow into that and lean into their purpose, I will grow into my purpose. And I have long since wondered um, why I don't have the uh, awareness of what inhibitions are expected of me. I don't have the filters or the social inhibitions that most people tend to have, and it has not worked to my benefit. And I was trying to figure out how that was going to play into my life, why it was such a challenge. But I feel like this is one example of how that's meant to be used for God's glory, because like I don't have inhibitions about sharing openly about my struggles with these videos are pretty much just for my view, but like I don't have inhibitions about doing that. Um, there's a lot of anecdotes that would involve other people, um, in which I will be discreet, um, because it's not it just involves other people by happenstance. It's not typically going to be about anything they did that would be embarrassing to them. Just it might involve them. Um, but yeah, like I don't really have many things that I would not share. There's some things I probably won't share just because they would be a distraction. But I don't think there's anything I wouldn't share uh, merely because it would be humiliating, typically. So yeah. Anyways, if you watch the videos, you will probably see me describing things, situations, my uh, childhood experiences, my childhood behavior, my adult behavior, my current understanding of what's causing that, what's the effect of that, and my best practices going forward, even my best practices going forward, all of that. None of that is meant to excuse my behavior. You know, I'm not learning about my psychological, my neurological wirings. I'm not learning about any of this so that I can live my best life, so that I can live life on my terms. See, that's the opposite. Like, I'm a Christian, so my goal is not to live my life on my terms, because I believe that we were sent here to praise God and give God the glory. And that's what I hope to do um, with this, so that I can uh, be an example, a template, even if that works, to show how like you can when you finally when God finally reveals what your struggles are in a way that you can understand it, you know, I mean, these are issues that I've struggled for decades to understand, and when it finally happened, I remember what books I was reading when I finally understood each issue, or what conversation I was having, um, when I finally understood each issue. And like to have that realization and to figure out how to use the knowledge of that struggle, um, and incorporate God's love into that, and show how even in that weakness, there is no excuse. Um, there is no need to uh, tell people or expect people. They just need to deal with it. Or, if you can't accept me at my, yeah, no. Uh, my goal, as feeble of an attempt as it has been at each step along the way to this point, and as much as I will continue to fall each day, my goal has continued to be um, a better, more godly version of myself as I'm able to understand it in that moment. So yeah, I'm not excusing my behavior. If you hear me talk about something plainly or frankly and it's off putting, it should be. If it's unhealthy or unchristian behavior, it should be off putting. I'm able to, for the most part, speak about things objectively because I witness my life. I largely experience my life from a top right perspective, which makes no sense except I understand things visually. So like it's an overarching view in which I'm typically looking down on myself over a multi-decade uh, period, which gives me a sense of objectivity and helps guide my decision making. And so yeah, I'm not meaning to excuse anything, just to describe it honestly. Um, if it's unsettling, then that's great. If it should be unsettling, use that. Um, if you hear something click and it's encouraging to hear that I figured out a way through that challenge, then that's great. Use that. Hopefully, someone, another person in addition to me, is able to use these ramblings here uh, to figure out how to navigate their life too. This is largely because I'm a visual person, so yeah. Hopefully, I'll start to put visuals in these. I've got some economics things I'm hoping to work in that are very visual, that are helping me. Um, I'm literally understanding things because I have graphs that graph the the aspects at play. So I'm able to understand things. So hopefully I'll be able to incorporate that, and it'll be something more than myself can benefit from.